Hi everybody, this is Boogass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Sesame Street Bert figure. So before we take a look at Bert, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, you get the letter A. Once you get Ernie and two other figures, they're going to spell out Neca. I think that's really cool. The texturing on this is really good, and the face that's on the side here is painted very well. So this is a pretty fun accessory. Up next, you get Bernice the Pigeon, and this has some really nice sculpt detail to it, not a whole lot in the way of paint. The one thing that does bother me is the legs are a separate piece that's glued onto the figure, and it's really noticeable with that seam line right there. I'm not quite sure why they didn't just make it all one piece. Up next, he comes with his bottle cap collection. All the different colors painted on look really good. This actually has a stand on the back of the frame, so you can stand it up if you want to. Up next, he comes with his paperclip collection. The design on the top is printed on, and that came out very clean. I love that you can actually open it up and see all of the paper clips in there, and they're all sculpted and painted very well. So that is very awesome. I'm very happy that you can open and close it. Up next, he comes with a set of open hands. Up next, he comes with the book holding hands and his Boring Stories book, and he can hold that very well. I love how it looks like he can actually read it. Looking on the inside, the only sort of paint detail is just squiggles. I think that's really cool. I love that he can actually hold it like he's reading it properly. Up next, he comes with a set of pointing hands. And I did want to mention that these are a little bit tricky to switch out. It's a pretty tight fit. The paint on the joints is also chipping off in my fingers. So that is a bit unfortunate. There's yellow paint all over my review station now from where it's chipping off these joints. And finally, he comes with his alternate open mouth head sculpt, and that looks really awesome. Neca did an awesome job on both head sculpts, and one thing that I love about this is he has pegged on eyebrows that you can actually swap upside down, so you can get kind of surprise look for him, and that gives additional options for photography, and I love that. On both head sculpts, you can switch the eyebrows out, and I think that is very, very awesome. So taking a look at the regular head sculpt, Neca did a very awesome job of both sculpting and painting this. He has some texturing all over his head that looks really, really nice. And that looks really good. The only complaint I have is his hair keeps falling off. And the pegs on both of the hair pieces on each head sculpt are sculpted differently, so they're not interchangeable. So I don't know if that's like that on all of them, but yeah, the hair keeps falling off on mine. But aside from that, I think these head sculpts look really cool. And as I said, just like with the other head sculpt, you can swap the eyebrows, so you can get him looking a bit more serious. And that is very awesome. Neca did a very awesome job of sculpting the sweater here. The texturing looks really good, and all of the different colored lines came out very clean. Neca did a very awesome job on that. The one thing I will say is the elbow joints are really noticeable right there because there's no sort of paint detail on them. So yeah, those do stick out. These weren't even painted. Usually Neca paints the joints, but there wasn't even any paint on the joints here when I opened it. I also think that this should have been more of a matte finish like the arms. It is very glossy, but it still looks pretty cool nonetheless. They even textured the pants really well. It's very subtle, but on top of the wrinkles and everything, you see that sculpted texturing, and that looks really good. I'm really surprised at how well sculpted this figure is. He's also a bit larger than I thought he'd be. I thought he would be a lot smaller, but he's actually kind of a large figure. And they painted his shoes very nicely. The little design on it, the laces and everything, that's really tiny detailing that's painted on there very well. You can also see his red socks right there, and no sort of sculpt detail to the bottoms. But yeah, this is sculpted really, really well. A lot more sculpt detail on it than I ever thought there would be. Neca did a really good job on this. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball jointed neck that can look up all the way. He can look down just a little bit. He can move his head side to side very nicely, and all the way around. He has shoulders that can only move out that far. He has single jointed elbows that can bend in all the way. Swivel thrusts that can move side to side. The up and down movement feels kind of hindered because it's tight, but the side-to-side movement is very nice. He has a ball-jointed diaphragm and waist, and you get a little bit of give in the material here, so you can only crunch forward that far, and at the waist joint it can move side to side very nicely, and all the way around, but it is a bit squeaky. He has ball-jointed hips that can just about do a complete split. He can kick forward that far. He can kick back all the way. He has a very, very nice thigh swivel here. That is articulated really well. He has single jointed knees that can bend back all the way. Because of the way the sculpt is right here, you get a bunch of clearance there. He has swivel up here in the shin that can move side to side. A little squeaky. He has ankles that can barely move down. They really don't move up, and they rock just a little bit. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to E.T. Here he is next to Alf, and he is actually larger than Alf, which was a surprise to me. Here he is next to Megan. And finally, here he is next to a full-scale Ultimate figure, and he's not much shorter than Beetlejuice here. So overall, I think Neca did a very awesome job on this. This is a figure that I didn't know I needed in my collection. It is just really fun. Neca did a very awesome job on painting and sculpting it. I love all of the textures on him. And he comes with a bunch of really fun accessories. I also love how you can switch out the eyebrows on each head sculpt. That way you can give him additional looks. I think that is very awesome. And as I said, he's a lot larger than I thought he'd be. I thought these Sesame Street figures were actually going to be a little bit smaller, but he's actually bigger than Alf. So overall, definitely don't miss out on this figure because it is really fun. I would definitely recommend picking this up. And I'm really excited to get Ernie at some point too. I think he's going to be another really fun figure in this line. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.